So my job here is to really tell you guys about the automation that exists out there in the world of talent acquisition, and the kind of stuff that you are up against, or hand in hand with, right? If you know the devil, you're equipped. So one of the biggest problems in the world of talent acquisition today is the sheer volume. There's a lot of candidates, there's a lot of talent out there, a lot of people applying to jobs, and recruiters don't have the time to thoroughly read the CVs, to understand the experience, and to match up people to jobs. So let me start with a little story, and it's a true story that did happen indeed. Opening as a matching engine, as a talent matching engine, started off with a pitch which was like the title of the pitch was the black hole, the recruiting black hole, because the founders and their friends were in the position of looking for a job, applying to the right roles, but not hearing back. For you guys, and certainly for me when I was looking for a job, after you apply to a role, and regardless of how great your resume is and how much effort you put into making it appropriate for the job, this is more or less what it feels like. You send it off and off it goes into this world. You don't hear back, you don't know, the feedback is not there. However, I kind of want to make you aware that on the other side, on the recruiter side, you've got people feeling like this. That's what it feels like to be a recruiter. And I was in those shoes. I knew that that was my reality. I would make the best effort I could in trying to decipher and to read the resumes that were coming through me, but I would still struggle. And we'll talk a bit more about what it used to be like and what it is like now in a minute. So the world of HR and the kind of things that recruiters and talent acquisition professionals are dealing with has really, really changed. What you're looking at now is a spectrum. It's an ecosystem of HR technologies that are out there. And you can see indeed there is, as one of the job aggregators, you've got job boards here, you've got candidate communication tools here, you've got employer reviews, but that's already when you've kind of been onboarded into the company, and you've got matching solutions, and you've got parsing solutions. I don't know if words kind of parsing, matching mean anything to you right now, but hopefully by the end of this kind of 10-15 minute talk, it will. When you look at this ecosystem, what is actually striking is that you've got, you as a candidate, you as a job seeker are being taken care of. There are companies working on the candidate-focused technologies that are there to help you get to the right job faster, and also there for the recruiter to help get to you as the right individual faster. And then you've got a wide variety of technologies there at the bottom that are focused already on the employee life cycle. Now, I think for me, when I was invited to do this talk, I tried to think of the kind of stuff that would help me as a job seeker, and I'm hoping this will be helpful to you guys as well. So just being aware of the numbers is important. There's probably 50 to 200 other people applying to jobs right now together with you, right? So you're in there in that bucket. Once you've applied to a job, or actually even before that, even when you're on the career portal, when you're exploring the roles that a company offers, you're in the user experience or the user UI of an applicant tracking system. You're in there already. You haven't applied yet, so your data hasn't been inserted into certain fields. That is essentially what parsing is. But once you've applied, your data is there and it's saved and it's updated. Sometimes it is in sync with LinkedIn and other social media that's kind of publicly available. Sometimes it isn't. All of the notes from interviews and the schedule of interviews is in there, and the results, so the feedback of those interviews is in there as well, up until you're onboarded. And that's taken care of by a system called applicant tracking system. Then the next one is a CRM. Probably you're all familiar with those, quite similar to marketing and sales CRMs. A recruiting CRM is there to help recruiters and talent acquisition folks nurture the candidates or the talent pools. And I work for a company that deals with with enterprises primarily. So their talent pools are enormous. We're talking millions. Smaller companies obviously have fewer people inside those CRMs, and even smaller companies might not have a recruiting CRM altogether. A very important piece of technology behind applicant tracking, behind CRMs, behind all of the tech that's getting developed right now is called parsing. So what parsing does is it looks at the resume that you've written in Word format or PDF or whatever else it might be, and it extracts vital data. Accuracy of parsers has absolutely multiplied through the years. I'll tell you a little bit about what it felt like working in recruitment in a little while. But essentially, once you've applied for a job, not only is your data extracted and saved, but you're also, chances are, if you're applying for an enterprise job, you're ranked against the other applicants. And that scoring, that matching is something that remains there, at least for however long the company takes to fill a particular job. So let's talk a little bit more specifically about parsing and matching solutions. So this isn't a kind of a chicken and egg exercise at all. Parsing was the first technology that appeared. Without parsing, no matching would ever be possible. The reason is you can't really do any matching or any machine learning on a piece of information that is not structured. What parsing does, it structures that data. So the world before parsing and matching. Here's the reason why I wanted to talk about that. There's a lot of fear in the industry, in the jobs market, that what is happening today with artificial intelligence and the use of all this tech is very new, right? It's not something that used to happen before. Well, my view on this is that actually it used to happen before. It was just done much worse, and a lot of the things were done manually, and we had a lot of human bias. So world before parsing and matching, multiple CV sources, multiple formats, multiple languages, multiple ways of talking about the same things differently. As a recruiter, what you ended up doing, if you wanted to create your own personal database of good people, of good talent, you would parse that information manually. So I'd spend time creating my database manually. I wouldn't rely on the parsers that existed back then. There would be little consistency across data points. As a human, it's very difficult to keep things consistent. You probably know, those of you who've used PC and Mac, how much easier it is to find things using search on Mac versus going through all of the folders on the PC. Endless attempts to create skills ontologies and agree on functionals and departments and experience coding. So literally recruiters and their tech teams would come together and try and build those skills ontologies, which still exist. Skills ontologies are being used to inform decision-making within matching systems across the globe, but it's very difficult to keep an ontology static. Things are moving, skills are changing, the meaning of words are changing, and a new set of skills is being added all of the time. So it's very difficult to keep it in a proper shape. Manual tagging of high potential candidates. We did it manually. There was no system to tell us that this is a star candidate, and there was no science behind who did we consider to be a star candidate and who was the high potential candidate. There was no way of knowing. Certainly this method is biased, it's unscientific, it's inconsistent. So as you can see, a lot of manual, a lot of time consuming work on the part of recruiter. So the world of today is the world where resume parser is a common technology, and it is embedded into 90% of enterprise level and HR and talent acquisition platforms. It's also embedded into job aggregators, into job boards, into career pages, corporate career pages. So the number one use case right now, and it's an important use case to be aware of as a job candidate, is that AI-enabled ranking is the number one use case for our clients and for the world of corporate talent acquisition. Recruiters want to know, and they want to be able to reshuffle candidates or applicants according to their match score. They no longer want to begin with the person who applied most recently or who applied 2 weeks ago. They want to start with the person who is the best match, and they want to be able to reshuffle quickly. Talent rediscovery is the second one. Talent rediscovery is basically an ability to run neural networks matching recommender engine through the database of talent that's already applied to your jobs. Next one is talent pooling. It's something that is on the rise. It's new because, quite simply, the way people hire is changing. Meetups are of growing importance. Graduate and recruiting events are of growing importance. But how do you know who to target? How do you sort by university? Do you sort by diploma? Do you sort by some particular skill? So with matching, you can do all of that in one go and at a scale. Skills and projects that maximize talent value versus linear and predefined career progression. So here's the thing. Previously, we were, as recruiters, we were looking at resumes and we were looking for a career progression. So somebody who started off as a brand executive, we were looking for them to move into a junior brand management role, and then a brand manager, and then a senior brand manager, and then, so you were looking for that predefined career progression. I don't think that is the case now. I actually believe that companies are now hiring for skills. They're hiring for the depth of the skill. They're not looking at job titles as much as they used to, but they are looking for skills and projects and achievements, and they are looking for illustrations of those on a resume. And last is the move towards explainable AI. So we're not there yet, but we will get there. Explainable AI pretty much means is, why is this a good match? Why is this a good candidate? And what is the next skill that I need to learn in order to maximize my value, or to maximize my value for the company, to maximize my value for myself, i.e. salary. I'm gonna go into details now, and I know you can ask questions, and I do hope I'm not running too quickly on this, but please feel free to ask questions as detailed as possible. I'll try to answer those. So what robots, what do parsers, what do robot recruiters, what do they love? They love simple structures. They love simple CV templates, and they don't enjoy images because images are quite difficult to parse. There is a technology that parses image resumes, but it isn't as reliable as parsing text. And they're not too keen on tables. So the reason why they're not too keen on tables is because any neural parser looks at your resume as one line. They will do their best job at trying to look at it line by line, word by word, character by character. And if you've got a table there, you might end up with something that doesn't quite make much sense. So simple structures. Number two, is having those logical timelines. It's important to start with your most recent experience and work your way down to something that is less or least relevant to the job. Next, surprising one, but I found this really works, clear dates. If you don't have a clear date, if you write it in some unorthodox way, it might not get parsed, it might not get recognized by the parser, and it might not be included as part of your experience. So it is actually very important, no matter how minor it feels right now, put in the real dates, January 2018 up until March 2019. No no shortcuts. Okay, summaries. And I think Sharon referred to it as a profile, right? It is crucial. It's critical to have it. It's good for the robots, but it's also good for individual recruiters who will appreciate the fact that you've written a summary which in 1, 2, 3 lines summarizes who you are and what value you can bring to the organization. There will be a time when those summaries are written by robots. We're not too far away from it, but it is an industry-wide natural language understanding, natural language processing problem. For now, applicant tracking systems and parsers are kind of mimicking that summary, and they often extract your profile or summary data and then add 1 or 2 sentences that are automatically generated by a robot. Okay, so it's good to have your own. PDF, Word, or any other text format, it's all good. Image resumes, not so great. Last but not least, obviously the most important bit of your resume is your skills. And I don't know how many of you are familiar with digital marketing and SEO for Google, but if you are, you know that if you just put a lot of keywords into a page, Google will not like that. You won't rank highly, but the pages that will rank highly are the ones that have a lot of context. And skills are all about context. So if you're saying you've done something, showcase it, prove it, put in a portfolio website if you're a digital marketer, put in the name of the technology that you used to build a website if you are a website developer and a freelancer. So put proof, put context, put achievements in there. When you started off with your question, Pierangelo, of how come my career went the way it went, apart from kind of taking a turn from corporate into a startup, I also took an entirely different turn at some point in my life. I used to be a recruiter and I really wanted to be a marketing manager. So I think no matter how vague or unvague your career path is now, it's important to have it. You got to know where you're going. Even if it's vague, remember, like have some, have some kind of idea. So knowing where you're going, I would begin with, and especially now is a weird place to be searching for a job. I don't envy any of you, but on the other hand, it's probably quite exciting, and what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. So number 1, try and think of the companies or the industries that you would like to work in. So if you're looking for a job in a law firm, know your law firms, like really know your law firms. Look up the individuals who are already in the position that you would like to be in 5 years, 3 years, 4 years from now. And look at the experience that they have, look at the skills that they have there, look at their training. Sometimes even talk to them, reach out to them. People are good, and it almost feels like people are better now than they were before the virus. So they will talk to you. They won't, they'll tell you what to do. They might introduce you to somebody else, which is something that happened in my case. LinkedIn profile in sync with your CV, an important bit. And actually, I don't walk the talk. My LinkedIn profile is definitely not in sync with my resume, but it's a good idea to bring those in sync, because, like I said, some of the applicant tracking systems will scrape the data from LinkedIn, which is completely GDPR compliant. It's a public data, and you probably put your LinkedIn profile link onto your resume. So they'll take that and they'll sync it. They'll add to it. Next one, describe your hobbies, your sports, your volunteering experience. I mean, that's definitely something to talk about as a graduate individual. Talk about those hobbies that make sense to the job, or in some way showcase some kind of transferable skill that you can use in your work life. Last but not least, do track your applications and your progress. So if you're using Trello for some of your projects at university, or just Excel, whatever else it might be, you're putting in a lot of effort into job search. And it's vital to keep track on that, because then you can do your follow-ups with individuals that haven't replied, and a bunch of other things. I wanted to also kind of give a mention to some of the technologies that might be worth checking out. I don't know what they offer for graduates, but they might offer a couple of things. Yellow is a graduate recruiting software that works with universities and enterprises who hire graduates. And I realized that they have a graduate sign-up page. So my advice would be build up a resume and sign up with Yellow. See what recommendations, see what recommended jobs they're giving you based on the resume, and play and edit, go back and upload the new resume again and see again what recommendations Yellow are giving you. Next one is Kik Resume. So Kik Resume will actually help you build a cover letter and a pretty looking resume that's parsable, and a personal website. So definitely want to try out. I know the guys personally. I know that they're rebranding, and there's something good happening in the next couple of weeks. So probably worth checking out at the end of this month. Stella is a fantastic one. It does what I described in an extremely, extremely cool way. All you need to do is upload your resume. It's extremely US centric, but it will still give you the matching jobs, and it will give you a good idea of what types of jobs the machines think that you're good for. I think that's it. I had a little video to show you how exactly matching works in the career portal, and we might be able to play it for you. Pierangelo, yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So this is actually one of our customers. It's a company called Aon. They use technology called iCIMS as their applicant tracking system. And what I'm doing in this video, I'm showing the traditional way, right? The keyword search for a job on a career portal, marketing manager, and I'm getting 98 results, right? How am I supposed to read all of those jobs? How am I supposed to understand whether I am a good match or not? I don't know. But because of matching technology, which is available to them, Aon have built this user experience. You can scroll your tab into job matching, insert your resume, and see the jobs that are a match to your experience. And as you can see, I'm using my own resume there. I'm both a marketing manager and a business development manager. And probably if there was more choice, some recruiting jobs would also be out there. So the engine definitely knows better. The engine knows faster, and it's there to help. No need to be afraid if you ever were.